PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by Squarespace. Build it beautiful. What's up, everybody? Welcome to PS I Love You XOXO, episode 16. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
It's good to be with you today.
It's good to be here with you today as well. It's time warp, as you know.
Yes.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 16. It was filmed right after episode 15. So we're recording on December 19th and posting on December 29th. If I did the math right. Who the hell knows if that's true? But it'd be the Tuesday at 9 a.m. So, heads up if you're watching, and on December 23rd, Shuhei's like, you know what? We're closing PlayStation down. Sorry, we didn't know.
Yeah, we had no idea.
You're not getting any breaking news here. It's just we're doing some reader wrap-up mail here. Because, of course,
Quick episode.
we're never going to miss it. What does that mean, though, to us?
We'll find
How
out.
long
I just
do you
don't
want
want
it
people
to
to have
be?
expectations, that it's going to be like, a usual 90 to...
Oh, no. I mean, the last one had the
an
Roper
hour
report.
or less, I assume. It's
Exactly. The last one had the Roper report and was still just an hour. So, I mean, a Roper's report. Sorry. TM, that's the way it would go. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is PS I Love You XOXO. It's kindafunny.com's PlayStation podcast, the number one PlayStation podcast on all of the internet. If you like it, thank you very much. You can pick it up each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. And of course, your podcast service of choice. We don't miss a Tuesday. That's the pledge. That's the promise. We ain't going to break those promises for no one, probably. One day we will, I'm sure.
See.
Something will happen one day. But we haven't done it with Game Over Greggy yet. Gamescast yet. That's impressive.
It
So,
is.
I mean, if we can do it with those shit shows, this shit show can go on forever and ever and ever. Nobody would ever care.
For sure.
So yeah, please like us, subscribe to us, share us, do all that good stuff. There's no Roper's report.
Nope.
Topic of the show is you. So reader mail.
Molotov cocktail.
That's good. Let's just stop there today. Reader mail is brought to you by Squarespace. We built kindafunny.com with it, so please go to squarespace.com. Use the offer code kindafunny to get 10% off your new Squarespace site. Colin?
Yes.
This is the post-Christmas show, pre-New Year's show. Now that we don't have to worry anymore about, like Santa and all that jazz, you know what I'm talking about? And being good and stuff. We don't have to worry about it.
Sam's a little piece of shit anyway.
He's an asshole. And now we're getting to the nefarious Christmas. So let's start, or the nefarious Christmas that is New Year's. Let's start with Killon56. Hi, guys. I was wondering, would you ever play or watch PlayStation VR porn? If VR catches on, it's only a matter of time before Japan shows us what its power can be used for. With great virtual reality comes great virtual responsibility. I would watch, of course I'd watch VR.
Yeah, absolutely.
VR.
I think that, honestly, I think one of the practical applications of it is going to be porn. So I think that, and I think that's fine. Not necessarily maybe PlayStation VR, but
That's the big
VR.
thing.
I don't think PlayStation VR is going to be used for porn, but VR generally, I think, is definitely going to be used for porn, and I think that's totally fine. I think that can be totally hot, depending on what you're into.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's important if you Killon56 are investing in your PlayStation VR headset just for PlayStation VR porn, I think you're going to be mistaken. Your better bet's Oculus, where anybody's just going to be doing everything. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? PlayStation, of course, there's certification, all these different things. Maybe there's no homebrew for PS4 somebody's putting up there or whatever. That's the problem.
Right.
Of course, it gets weird because you might think, well, the PSP had porn on UMDs, but that was just printing UMDs and selling UMDs. You didn't have to go in and get it approved by PlayStation.
Right.
John Kohler is there rejecting porn.
Right.
I've sent him my porns and he's just like, no.
Slapping them down.
I don't want them. I don't want these porns, Greg. Stop sending me these. I'm John Kohler. But no, VR porn is totally a future thing.
Yeah.
Porn push Blu-rays, it pushes that medium forward.
Porn pushed VHS.
Yeah.
So it was yeah, I think that's obvious. I don't think that's a problem. Porn's totally fine. Who cares? Do what you want.
Jonathan Barnett writes into kindafunny.com/PSQ just like you can. Says, dear Greg and Colin. I actually said Colin and Greg. I don't know why I reverse them sometimes. I'm stupid. I should die. With 30.2 million people buying PS4s and Xbox One, selling somewhere around 15 million or so, we think, consoles are selling much greater than last generation. So my question is simple. Colin, why do you think this generation of consoles will be so short? I'm sure more people will want their investments to last longer and won't be ready to jump generations very soon. P.S. I love you. This is something you say often on our shows when we talk about it, that this console life cycle is supposedly, you think, is going to be shorter than PS3, which was shorter than PS2.
Yeah, I think, well, PS3's life cycle really wasn't shorter than PS2's.
True.
I think PS3's life cycle, I mean, in terms of its dominance, I think PS3 and Xbox 360 were around too long. I think that is one of the reasons why people were starting to read into, kind of buy into rather the fact that like, oh, console gaming's dying and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, it's because people are tired of these fucking consoles. And I think that I just don't know if you can let these things hang around for 8 or 10 years again. Like, there's a principle in computing that, computing, like microprocessing, I think becomes twice as fast every 18 months or something like that. And people are not going to be as patient in the future to wait for new technology when they can see what other machines can do.
How long do you think we have with PS4?
I think PS4 will be sold like through probably 2020, 2021, but I wouldn't be surprised if you got a PS5 in 2019, 2020.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
maybe even sooner than that. I mean, like and these machines,
years. I guess that's not crazy.
and these machines, these PS5s might be, totally backwards compatible and basically are PS4s, but that's why I was surprised that there wasn't more modular kind of things going on with the new consoles where like these things leaked, or people were conjecturing about PS 4.1 and all these kinds of things, like half steps towards the next console, I think is a smart move, like N64 kind of did with the RAM expansion and stuff like that. That lets the games, run better or look better or whatever. So I just don't know that, the consoles are selling very well now. It is important to note that he's not necessarily right. Consoles aren't selling better than they were last generation. If you remove the Wii, they are. And that's math I agree with. If you compare PlayStation and Xbox to PlayStation and Xbox, then the console sales are definitely up. But if you throw Wii in there, as some people do, and rightfully so, then the console sales are actually down, and that's a sign of concern for some people. I don't think that it's a concern for us, though.
One of the things, I think that you're missing, is, I'm sure people want their investments to last longer. Sure, I agree there are a lot of people who do that, but I think there's just as many who are ready to jump on it, right? The new iPhone comes out, people trade in their iPhone, that works pretty fine. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm on the every other year of the iPhone. I love doing that. And I think it's similar here, right? That when a new piece of tech comes out, it's going to be great. And that's the weird thing to think about, at least for me. I don't know about you, is to sit here and be like, PlayStation 4, all right, came out in 2013, right? Which seems so long ago when it wasn't, but even right now I really feel like is when it's ramping up and there's all these amazing things, right? Like early adopters like ourselves bought the PS4, and there were plenty of people who kept on PS3ing and had a great time and didn't worry about it. And that's the thing, that's how the cycles work, right? Is that by the time the majority is buying the PlayStation 4, there's already been a whole bunch of people who've already had it for a while. Sure. It's not like everybody buys it at launch and is on the board at the same time. Like, you keep getting these cycles where you get a lot out of it, but you can get to the next one while it's still out there. Yeah, and that's where the PS2's 10-year life cycle came into play.
Sure. PS1 cycle was about 5 years, 5.5 years. I think that's a reasonable cycle. Yeah. I don't PS1, by the way, sold 100 million units, so it's not like it hurt it, and I think PS4 is probably on its way to sell 100 million as well. PS2 had a longer life cycle and also was in emerging countries and was around for a long time and was manufactured until like a few years ago. So, it sold like 150 million units, and PS3 sold about 80 million being on sale about as long. So I don't necessarily think it affects interest or sales. I think that it's about like the relativity of games versus hardware and where the industry's at or whatever. I just don't know that the video game market's going to, the PS3 that came into your home in 2013 is going to be quite irrelevant by 2020. And I don't know if you can wait that long technologically. Sure. And I don't know if game developers want to wait that long either. I think a lot of game developers felt hamstrung and held back by the old hardware.
And that'll inevitably happen again as we move forward and PCs get more powerful and you want to make a more prettier game.
It's going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem that the industry is going to have to confront, soon, I think. And I'm sure that R&D has already begun on the new consoles.
Of course, yeah, 1,000%. Wombat writes into kindafunny.com/PSQ and says, can you guys name a studio that you'd like to visit that you haven't visited before? I personally would love to see Greg go somewhere in Quebec, Ubisoft, asking everyone asking everyone he sees, quote, where are les enfants terribles? Cheers, Wombat. P.S. I love you guys. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. P.S. We love you too. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Even though Christmas has already come and gone for you, it hasn't happened for us yet. Studio you'd like to visit, Colin Moriarty, that you haven't visited before. And you're a well-traveled young man.
I've never been to Bend, and I think I'm going to try to get up there, but I'd like to go to Housemarque. Yeah. I think that would be fun.
See, for me,
they've invited me. I've just never been able to go. I mean, it's kind of like, far away.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. I want to go to faraway place. I want to go to Media Molecule. I've never been to Media Molecule. I'd love to get out there and see what's happening with Dreams and, everything else. And then Gorilla. I've never been to Gorilla. And I know a lot. That's another thing where we've had those chances back at IGN, but it was, somebody else took the trip or this, that, or the other. But get over there and see what's happening with everything.
Yeah, I mean,
this Horizon game.
Yeah, I think there would be, there's a lot of studios I'd like to go visit. Some studios are fun to visit. Some studios are very, vanilla to visit or whatever. So it's, you have to, take that into consideration as well. Because, everyone's making games. Some people are just a little more glamorous about it than others.
Sure. I want to go to Gorilla and party with Herman.
Oh, okay.
Herman Hulse, what's up? Let's get down. Go over to Media Molecule. Say, what's up, Alex? And then turn around and say, what's up, other Alex? And then we go party. You see what I'm saying?
I think so.
You understand what I'm saying?
Not really, but...
Frank Yeager writes into kindafunny.com/PSQ. Hey, guys, I have a few questions for you. Insert from Greg. I'm only going to read one. Number 1. When would you expect a PS4 Slim? P.S. I love your podcasts. You think this E3? Is it time?
Maybe. I don't know that they have to do anything like that.
True. And they did do the quiet tinker of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where they changed it, no gloss cover anymore, all matte.
Probably 2017. I would say no later than that.
No later than 2017.
They can definitely... The imperative on them is not to sell more, because I don't think they're having a problem with that. The imperative on them is to cut costs and make more money. So... and that's what the PS3 Slim allowed them to do, and they did cut the cost of the console making it, and they did cut the price of it, but they were making more money. I mean, PS3 was sold, I remember $600 when it came out. I'd be interested to see like what it looked like and how much. The system's pretty small, so I don't know. Like when you compare it to an Xbox One, remember when they showed the Xbox One? I'm like, that thing's gigantic. Yeah,
they had nothing next to it for comparison.
And the brick's not even in it. So. Could they get this thing smaller? I'm sure they can, and I'm sure that they will. But I don't know that they necessarily have to right now. And I'm sure they have a lot of these things in manufacturing and sitting around. So I wouldn't expect it in 2016, but maybe.
I think it's possible, yeah. But I don't. Yeah, there's just no imperative to do it. There's no reason to rush out and do it. Frankie 24B wrote in to kindafunny.com/PSQ just like you can. It says, "Hey guys, I love my Vita. Probably, then put in the parentheses, definitely not as much as you guys." But it is without a doubt the best handheld device I've ever used and has ever made. However, over the last few months, I have found myself playing it less and less. I really only use it when I am on the go, but as I have gotten older, I have been doing a lot less gaming outside of my house. I am considering parting ways with my Vita and just sticking to home consoles. I have a PS TV, so if I do feel inclined to play a Vita game, I could just use that, assuming the game is compatible. I just wanted your guys' take on the matter. If gaming on the go was something you no longer had time for, would you give up on your Vita? Thanks again, and congratulations to Greg and all of you at Kinda Funny for your award. P.S. I love you. No, I really do. Like, for real. This happened, kind of. My Vita's main purpose was to kill time on the Muti going into IGN, and then that went away. Now that my commute is walking down the hallway into this room. So my Vita gameplay this year drastically dropped off, I feel.
Mine too.
But it's like, my whole thing is like, when people are talking about getting rid of it, it's like, I'm not in your financial situation, but I'm like, the $60 you're going to get trading it in, maybe, you know what I mean? I guess that's more realistic than selling it. 60 to 100, selling it to a friend or whatever.
Yeah, I don't get it. I always say you shouldn't sell hardware.
And I've been there being a young kid. This, it talks about, Frankie B here sounds like an adult man. You know what I mean? Like, but being a young kid of like, well, I needed to trade this in to get my N64 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I get, but it's just like, why not just hold on to it? You know what I mean? Like, are there going to be like do you need a Vita? No. You have a PlayStation TV. You want to be able to play great games like Taco Master that are touch only, but you'd be able to play anything that does come down the pipe. That's awesome. And honestly, most of the things that are coming down that we're super excited about are crossplay. They're cross buy, or there's something that's already on a PC or whatever. For me, it is though. I mean, I don't commute every day, but I travel a lot, so I do like having it on the plane and stuff. But even then, I end up watching something or falling asleep half the time.
Yeah,
it's a security blanket. It's nice to have. It's like you always talk about with cable TV. God, we don't fucking watch it, but it's nice having it there when I do need it.
Yeah, absolutely. I always discourage people from selling hardware. You shouldn't sell hardware. It's just not smart. So there's no reason to do that unless you are in significant financial straits. And I don't presume to know that, or I'm not judging you for that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to make this sound like throwing rocks.
Yeah, but it's I haven't played my Vita too much this year, but it's been fun when I have played it. It is nice that it is there when you want it. It just gives you options, so there's no reason to not hold on to it.
Pake Saker writes into kindafunny.com/PSQ and says, "Hey, 2 quick PSVR questions. Greg, many of us wear glasses, and I have found certain headsets uncomfortable due to this. How has wearing glasses affected your enjoyment of PlayStation VR, both in comfort and functionality?" every time before PSX, I would take off my glasses since I don't really need them all that much and hang them on my thing and use them. But then at PSX, for the res demo and rigs, they gave me the headset and were like, you can put it on yourself. You're not stupid. And when I did that, I left the glasses on. Didn't feel them. They weren't resting. They didn't jack up my glasses. I liked it. It was perfect. None of the weight was on them. I don't think it would break my glasses, and it didn't, clearly. So I'm super excited and stoked about that. Colin. He says /Greg, but I'm going to give it to you. Colin. I'm especially excited about VR games that are based around exploration. Think Gone Home, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, Robinson, The Journey, etc. What genres are you two most intrigued by in terms of VR? I think that the horror game is a great fit as well. Curious what you two think. Best wishes and happy holidays. Pake Saker.
Shooters, I think, are going to be really fun in there. It's going to be hard to calibrate using your head as the stick, basically. You're gonna have to learn a new way to play, and I don't know how it's going to work, but that's what I'm most excited about because I really love first-person shooters. And then like space games, like flight games and stuff like that. I think we're gonna be really. That's why I'm so into Eve Valkyrie. So I think, but I think he nailed it with the exploration games. I think
that is the one I'm super
Home
stoked
and Vanishing. I think will work really well in that space.
I hope they patch Gone Home for it, even though I guess it's gonna be totally stupid and worthless, and it's an old game, and it'll be.
Well, it's not old. It's a lot of people that are gonna play it though. So.
Sure, but I mean, I'm talking about the time PSVR gets out.
Right.
Gone Home comes in January, so it's
that's
like,
true.
What the hell do they care?
That's a good.
It would have been good right now. It also would have been good for a platinum trophy, but I don't mean to yell at Steve Gaynor all the time about it.
It's an hour and a half game.
Taco Master has a platinum, Colin.
But what's most exciting about VR is the game developers, these brilliant people that make these games. You show me. This is what I always say about, my frustration with Media Molecule sometimes is like, you show me the game. Like you make the game.
They say they are.
And I'll play it.
They say they are.
I don't want to make the game. And so this is one of those things where if I want to make a game, I would make one. So so to me, that's what I'm most excited about. Is like, I have expectations of what I have, but I think the things that are going to blow us away about VR are the things that we don't know are possible yet. And I think that, or things we haven't thought about, or things we thought were impossible. We talk about third-person games, for instance, being kind of weird. Well, show me how it can work. And I think these guys can and gals can do it. So that's what I'm most excited about, are the things that we don't expect.
Sure, 100%. Zimzam wrote into kindafunny.com/PSQ and says, greetings, friends. I have a question that combines two often discussed topics: voting with your wallet and Rise of the Tomb Raider. The question, in short, how do we make sure the next Tomb Raider doesn't do this timed exclusivity bullshit?
It won't.
Okay. Do you want me to read
yes, I'm
then
sorry.
He has like a whole story, a diatribe. That was his question.
Okay.
But his thing is, I have a PS4 and personally have no interest in the Xbox One, but I really like the Tomb Raider reboot and I'm saddened by the limited or timed exclusivity of Rise of the Tomb Raider. I feel like Square will profit by shitting on PS4 owners. They get a big check for limited exclusivity or timed exclusivity. I don't know why I keep saying that. And then I just go buy it on PS4 whenever that happens. Do I vote with my wallet and hope that the terrible sales teach them not to betray their Sony audience? Or do PS4 sales overtake Xbox sales for this game within a few weeks of PS4's release and show them where their fans really are? That isn't exactly a lesson hard learned, though. Great PS4 sales and crap Xbox One sales, plus a giant check from Microsoft, would suit them just fine, I imagine, forever years. This is what you're always talking about.
This is hard. I mean, this is a great question.
Zimzam is talking about, yes, what do we do voting with your wallets? How do you express your displeasure, and I'm talking his displeasure, her displeasure, with this exclusivity agreement? Is it that you don't buy it on PS4, or you do? I mean, what do you say, Mr. Vote with your wallet?
It's tough. I think this is a tough one. This is a really legit tough one. I don't know what the right answer is. I really don't. First of all, I think you have to do like what you need to do. Square Enix made a really stupid choice. Everyone knows that, but I don't know if they feel like they made. This is the point I'm making: is that we don't know what the financial decision was with Microsoft. They might have made a lot of money, and they don't care about the choice. But I do think this is going to have ramifications for Tomb Raider as a franchise.
Really?
And we've talked about this before. I think we talked about it maybe on the last episode or on Colin and Greg Live. I think Tomb Raider's soft sales. You never want to see a dip in sales in a franchise and then expect that that's just going to rebound later on. It's not. I mean, that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
If you don't have mind share with Tomb Raider and if people feel betrayed by it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble the next time you try to release one of these games. And I really believe that no matter how good Tomb Raider is, by the time it comes out on PlayStation 4, the audience is going to be moving on. We would have played Uncharted, which is going to be a very similar game in many respects and was clearly the inspiration for what a lot of Tomb Raider is doing. By the time we get to the fall, Horizon and all these games are going to come out, plus whatever the third parties are going to have as well. The Last Guardian should be out by then. So it's one of those situations where, it's a valid question. Do we as PlayStation fans not buy it to prove a point, which is Pyrrhic in a way? Certainly because the game's great, it is Pyrrhic. but it's to make a point. But does Square Enix even care because they
Right.
might have already made their money anyway? Or do you buy it to show them they made a mistake? I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think they know they made a mistake. You know, I think that they know that. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to begin with. It was a similar situation with what I say with EA and Titanfall though. If they can go, when that decision was made, the landscape was not what it is now. They also didn't know Fallout was going to come out and eat their lunch the next day. I don't think the Tomb Raider exclusive deal on Xbox would have worked out this way so poorly for them if Fallout didn't come out. I don't know that it's necessarily not being on PlayStation that hurt it. It certainly hurt it in a way, but what really hurt it was Fallout. Fallout fucking destroyed that game, and I told everyone it wasn't like, and you said it, and everyone said it, it's not like it was this great fucking prophecy. You know what I mean? It was obvious that Fallout was going to destroy that game, and it did.
Yeah.
So, where I come down on it on a personal level is like, I feel bad for Crystal Dynamics, and so I think you should buy the game when it comes to PlayStation.
If you're interested in it,
yeah. If you want to play it, as opposed to like the Pyrrhic move of like not playing it because you want to prove a point. But I think Square Enix has something to fear about Tomb Raider's future. And I'm not saying that Tomb Raider's not going to have a future. I'm not saying it's not going to be great or whatever. I'm saying that when you see a Mass Effect to Mass Effect 2, big jump. Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 3, big jump, right?
Yeah.
Tomb Raider reboot to Tomb Raider, or the Rise of the Tomb Raider, big drop.
Trouble.
That's not a good sign.
Sure.
Even if they get back to the baseline, that's not where they want to be. What they wanted was big jump.
Yeah.
And they're going to get big drop, jump.
But do you think were they expecting a big jump, do you think, when they signed this exclusivity deal? They must have already known they were having the audience. Or
I don't know that the Tomb Raider reboot even sold that well. And the
quote is doing fine.
No, not Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think that wasn't Square Enix saying like, even though the game sold like a pretty preposterous amount of copies.
You're right. I remember that.
That like they were like not happy with it. And I was like, all right, well, like what are your expectations? And therefore, like that tells me that Microsoft paid them a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft also, I think, helped them not develop it because Crystal did it, but maybe help produce it and all that kind of stuff. So they got some behind the scenes help probably from that as well. But if I were Sony, the one thing that Crystal and Square should be concerned about is the scorn of Sony. Like Sony's not going to put anything behind this.
True.
Nor should they. You don't want to. If you're Sony, I don't think
reward these guys.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to reward quote unquote bad behavior. I mean, they made a business decision, but
of course,
you don't want to be like, well, like Tomb Raider's on PlayStation 4 now, and you're gonna see commercials for it. Like they're like, well, like
you had your shot.
Yeah, you had your shot. We have our Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. I will be fascinated to see how it does. I'm not sure we're ever gonna really learn specific numbers. I just don't believe that the game did well. Like I don't like. It's fine. It's doing fine. Sounds a little bit like some propaganda to me. I just don't see where that's coming from.
Sure.
Do
you think there's a cautionary tale in here about console exclusives?
No, I think that I think console exclusives are fine, and I think that they're a little weird from third parties, and I think that's where the line's drawn. And it seems like Xbox has secured a lot of these, and that's their prerogative. Titanfall is another example of a game that didn't sell extraordinarily well. Would have sold way better if it was on PlayStation. But that was a lesson learned for EA and a decision made certainly long before the consoles were even revealed.
Xbox will be the shooter console and it'll keep being in front. Yeah.
So these are the decisions I would have made. I'm not. If I was at EA and I was like, well, we have a choice here, I'd be like, of course we're going to have fucking Xbox. Are you kidding me? But they bungled it, and not EA, but Microsoft bungled the release and the announcement and stuff and really hurt that game. So I just think that you have to kind of look at it through the lens of a business decision which was made, and that's not really the problem. The people that are really going to be hurt now are the developers who want you to play their game. And Rise of the Tomb Raider seems like, I watched you play it, and I haven't played it yet, and I probably will just wait till it comes to PlayStation. But
you'll probably never play it.
But it's one of those games that deserves better.
Yeah,
and
it's a shame that it had its legs knocked out from underneath.
Yeah, because
both by Fallout and by this exclusivity or whatever.
Yeah, Titanfall I didn't feel bad about because it was like Titanfall. It was well reviewed, but it didn't seem like people were really crazy about it. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like you kind of made your bed. But with Tomb Raider, it's like, yeah, it's a real shame because a lot of people are talking about like how this is maybe the best game of the year and it's isolated on this console. But given the opportunity, we mustn't ignore the fact that Sony would have done the same thing. So it's not like anyone's above reproach. I have no problem with console exclusives. I think some people are like, any kind of exclusive is dumb, and I'm like, that's a dumb opinion because
it's not business.
Yeah, and like what differentiates the consoles? If you don't have first parties and second parties, so that's a stupid opinion. But the third party exclusive, yeah, I get it. I think it is stupid, and I don't think you're going to see much more of that. But Persona 5 is going to be exclusive to PlayStation, and Ni no Kuni, it looks like it's going to be exclusive to PlayStation, and so it's we have those games on our console too. So
and I mean, at PSX there was a giant thing of like all these. It's console exclusive.
Smaller games though.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm not lumping in things like if you're listening at home. You're not mentioning Kojima's thing because that's not the same thing. Kojima's an independent developer. You need to publish this game. How do you publish the game?
Yeah, Sony's
Square Enix could publish this game and put it everywhere.
Right, exactly. It was a financial decision, and you can't really begrudge them. It's a very complicated situation, though, and I don't know the right answer. I think it's a great question.
Mo Rage 1 wrote into kindoffunny.com/PSQ just like you can and should, or we'll cry. Greetings, Greg and Colin. Happy holidays, guys. This year is ending already, and the game of the years are getting announced. 2015 had some awesome games, and the upcoming year looks just as good. BT dubs. If you're looking for what kind of funny game of the year stuff is going to be, you have to watch the Gamescast second week of January, or just watch it every week because it's great that way. Back to Mo Rage 1. What are your guys' most anticipated games of 2016? For me, it's Persona 5 all the way. After 8 years, I can't wait to play the next numbered title in Atlas's amazing JRPG franchise. All the gameplay so far looks fantastic, and the story seems interesting and fun. What are you guys looking forward to? Thanks, and enjoy your well-deserved holidays. Best regards, Sean, a.k.a. Mo Rage 1. I'm right there with him for Persona. I mean, my number one is a totally boring, tried and true answer of Uncharted 4, of course. Like, I can't wait to see what happens with that. Love Naughty Dog. Can't wait to see this story wrap up and how they're going to do it. Like, that's one of those things where I'm super excited to see the end. You know what I mean? I'm excited to play it. I'm sure it's going to be great. And I want to see how Sam and Nate interact and all these different things. But I want to get to that. What is the final fucking scene before credits? You know what I mean? And how does that play out? And what am I feeling when I get there? But like the one that is the other one is Persona 5, which I guess is also boring and played out at this point. But I've known forever it was coming to 2016. So here we are.
Yeah, that was an obvious one, huh?
Yeah.
Horizon, I think, is probably my most anticipated game. Although I'm super interested in Matterfall, and can't wait for that. Alien Nation is going to come out in 2016, which I'm super excited about. I can't tell you a little house mark. And the morbid curiosity meter, Final Fantasy 15. Like through like my morbid curiosity reader is through the roof on Final Fantasy 15. So can't wait to see what kind of game that's going to be, and if it's going to be good or bad. As I said on the Gamescast, I don't expect anything less than a good game. It's impossible to imagine it's going to be anything less than good. But I just want to see, like, what is it?
Do you predict right now, in your final show of 2015, that you beat Final? Did you see Final Fantasy 15 all the way through? You think, or you?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say that. Right. I haven't beaten many games this year. I just, I was reading something actually. The Atlantic published a really interesting piece about nostalgia in games and how nostalgia is rooting games, which I don't necessarily agree with, but because I think that all media is based on nostalgia in some respect. But one of the things they brought up is that numbers show that about 90% of anyone who plays a game doesn't finish that game. So it's not uncommon to not finish a game.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah.
But I didn't realize it wasn't that uncommon, to the tune of 90%. And when you look at people's trophies, you see that the number is even way lower than that sometimes. 2%, 3% finish a game. So I'm like falling more into line with the normal person again, right, where I'm like, just
other interests and things are taking you away from me. Yeah.
But when I think about the games I beat this year, I beat like Batman, and begrudgingly, and just because I was so close, I might as well just do it. And Shovel Knight on Vita, I beat. Like, I spent a shit ton of time with some games, but I'm just like, I just don't beat any of this stuff.
Don't need to go any further. And this Witcher.
I'm
Fallout,
trying to be a little more judicious with the time I spend with games. Not necessarily in terms of volume, because if there are so many great games that I'm playing every day, that's great. But in terms of like, I don't need to play everything anymore. I don't care and to play everything like that anymore. And I'm just gonna find the experiences that are good, really good for me. Sometimes that precludes me from beating games because you have to jump around a lot or you just fall out of it. You know?
Sure.
There are games I had every intention of beating that I didn't because of travel and all that kind of stuff too. It was a complicated year.
Yeah, we were busy. Mm-hmm. It was a busy year for Kind of Funny. Colin. Buckslacks30 or Buckslacks30, depending on where you want to put the emphasis.
Sure.
Writes in to kindoffunny.com/PSQ just like you can and should. It says, hey guys, I am normally not a big RPG player, but lately I've been itching to play a good action RPG. I played Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Fuck yes.
Yeah, fantastic game.
And loved it. Rest in peace, 38 Studios. Have I ever told you? I'm pretty sure I haven't, because this has come up before in shows where we're about to talk about Reckoning, one of my favorite games of all time. That
really, Reckoning is one of your favorite games of all time?
No, I mean it's on the short list for, I think, of like games that we talk about all the time. Whatever. I'm always beating the drum for Reckoning. No, it's not on the short list for my games, but it's in terms of gameplay, fucking amazing. But when I went and did that voice actor panel in LA or whatever, at the end of it, a dev came over to me and shook my hand. I was like, oh, thank you. And he's like, I also wanted to thank you on behalf of 38 Studios. Like, I worked there, and when everything was like fucking going south, like you guys were talking about it all the time on your shows, and we loved that, and it was really good. I'm like, of course, your game was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love
criminally underplayed. You know, fuck it. I had something else. That's I'm this week's forgotten PlayStation game. Go play Kings of Amalur Reckoning on PS3.
Yeah, fantastic. It is
God damn
it is a
game
fantastic
awesome.
game.
Do you guys know anything like that currently available for PlayStation 4, or perhaps something that will be coming along soon?
Horizon's going to be that.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn will scratch that itch, but it just seems so far away. Your suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Take it easy. An action RPG.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say, and don't immediately bite me. Don't do that thing where you bite me right away and strike like the cobra you are. In the same vein here, I would say try Diablo 3 on PS4. Gameplay, not at all like Kingdoms of Amalur, but it's action RPG. It's running around, killing things, looting up, getting your gear.
Yeah,
doing this stuff.
It's not Reckoning in gameplay, but it is.
He said action RPG is what he's looking for, though.
Yeah, is that really an action RPG though?
I'm putting it out there, and since I just said it, yeah,
I don't think Diablo's an action RPG. But I think you're right. That's the right spirit.
Thank you. What is it if it's not action RPG then?
I mean, isn't it like kind of like a
it's a dungeon crawler.
Yeah,
yeah. But
I just don't see it like there's a lot of command. Like,
not on
let
console.
Let me see what I want to see what Wikipedia calls it.
Okay,
and I'll defer to that.
Okay,
and then maybe to you because.
And I'm just saying, he's looking for something in that vein that would scratch that itch. That would do it. And that's the problem: is that Reckoning was so fucking good on a gameplay level that no action RPG has come along and been that good on a gameplay level. Period. End of statement. Gameplay was superb. Superb. Empire Records reference. There you go.
Yeah, action role playing hack and slash. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Is like I'm like it's more of a hack and slash, really. But
sure.
But
I'm not trying to take that away. But there you go.
But
I'm right.
But no, it has. I mean, it has deep role playing mechanics. So I mean, I can see and loop mechanics and stuff like that, and statistics. So I mean, yeah, I can get that. But I don't think it's like Amalur. But you've played both, and I have not. So I got to defer to you on that. In terms of like the games like that, I mean, there aren't really
That's
many.
The problem.
Horizon is going to be a game like that, which is why I'm so excited about it. And I'm sure that there are others if you like really want to get into the nitty gritty. Like, but I don't know any. None are off the top of my head that are.
That's what I've always wanted on Vita. This is a nice open world action RPG.
You didn't play Ys.
I did. No, I did. Oh, you did? Celsia. Yeah, I did. It just didn't hook me the right way. And I didn't like switching characters. I want to be one person and go. But no, I did. It
was a game.
It was. I need to get
People
back.
thought I underrated it, but I thought I kind of nailed it.
What'd you give it?
Like a low 7, I think. Or something.
No, you were right there. No, totally. Don't listen to them. They're haters.
It was fun, though. Man, I'm tired. Why am I so tired?
I don't know. You tell me, buddy. I don't like. That was a good question. I don't like any of these other questions to end the year on.
Do you want to just end it on that then?
I think so. I could go back to episode 15 and see if there's any question we skipped, but I didn't read those in episode 15, so they probably weren't good either. You know what I mean?
And wrap it up. It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be a very short episode, but we did it because we love the people.
Exactly. We wanted you to have something to listen to on your way to your New Year's Eve party. Your woman dressed in a black sequins dress. She has one of those shiny hats on that says Happy New Year 2016. Perhaps some kind of boa around her neck. White. You're driving an SUV.
What is this like? Is this one of your novels? Is this one of your fucking
your erotic
perv fiction?
It's called erotic fiction. There's no perv fiction in Sarah.
No, I go straight perv and just go straight to the porn personally. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Time for our segment. P.S. I love this best friend XOXO. The final P.S. I love this best friend XOXO of 2015. Remember, the rules here are simple. You are best friends with us, and that means you're best friends with each other. This person needs PSN friends and good wishes. So I will read their PSN name. You will send them good wishes and become friends with them, and you all have a great time. Good wishes. This comes from Nadala. Hi, Colin and Greg. I was watching the most recent episode of the show and heard Greg mention that an upcoming episode will go live on the 29th. That is my birthday. I didn't realize it was going to be a Tuesday this year until now, so a new episode will be a great part of my day. I don't do anything to celebrate my birthday. I prefer to chill out and play some games, especially since this will be my first stress-free time in a few months. So that's what I'll be doing. I would love to be this week's P.S. I love this best friend XOXO. If anyone wants to play Rocket League or something else, my PSN name is NDO95. That's NDO95. Enjoy your holidays. and New Year's guys. P.S. Thanks for the ridiculous numbers of hours that Kinda Funny has kept me entertained. Listening to your podcast whilst playing games has gotten me through some tedious stuff. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Also, I love you. XOXO. We love you too. NDO. No, ND0. No, NDO. That's an O. NDO95. NDO. We'll say it stands for Nadala Does Oberland 95.
Fair enough. I think I was exactly what I was going to say, so you nailed it.
Nailed it. We were right there on the same page. Time for PSN's worst name of the week. This is where you go to kindafunny.com/forums. Go to the PSX I love you. No, PS I love you XOXO. God, we need this fucking break so goddamn bad. This week's been awful. Like, you know what I mean? Tim and I built the week on the schedule.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've been out of it these last two episodes. I am so tired, dude. Like I just need to just disappear.
This one
puff of smoke for a little while.
This one comes from Phil. Phil says, "Hey guys, I'm new to the forums, but I've been following you guys for years. Any whoosies? I was recently banned on PSN and couldn't figure out what for. So I just now called customer service, and they had me dig through some emails from my PSN username to find out my account on their end. Anytime, if you would have liked to put a paragraph break in any of this fucking goddamn shit, it would have been appreciated, Phil. Sorry, I'm taking out 2015 on you." Now, I've had this account for 2 years. I had tons of trophies and thousands of hours put into games on this puppy. But when I found out I was banned for an inappropriate username, I immediately went beet red and was willing to throw away everything I'd worked towards. Normally, I don't think too much about my username, seeing as how I don't share videos or play multiplayer games with friends often. But when my older brother typed in my username, as I went to the bathroom, as I was first setting up my PS4, I had no idea that he forced me to recite X2 in the bush, 1 in the tush, out loud to not one, but 2 middle-aged women who I could hear laughing hysterically over the phone. Embarrassed, I tried to rush through the system to set up a new account without my trophies or saves, and they misheard the new username I was instructed to give on the spot. He wanted fresh_filthy and PHILTHY, because his name's Phil, my Twitter username, so shout out to his Twitter username. But they put him in as fresh filthy, PHILPHY. Quote, then in all caps, "That doesn't make any damn sense. Now I'm ruined forever, as are my puns. This is your fault, Shu, you beautiful bastard. Let us change our names. Tell Nick I love him." Nick's not here, but he will be because I have to do things with him later on. Sexual things. Shuhei, let Phil change his name. Although that X2 in the bush, 1 in the tush is pretty good. That's a pretty good name. I don't think it's... Here's one of the things. I'm suspending my disbelief. This story sounds kind of fake. You went to the bathroom while a guy set up your name. You never saw your PSN name. They found you without you playing multiplayer. And it's
calling
like,
them out.
A little bit. Because we've seen such worse names than 2 in the bush, 1 in the tush.
Sure.
That's not even that bad. It's really cute, actually.
Sure.
Anytime you say tush, it's cute.
Oh, okay.
I got to go to the tush doctor. I got a hemorrhoid. It's still cute.
All right, it's time to wrap it up, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PS I Love You XOXO. Thank you for enjoying this goddamn shit show of a disaster. We had fun doing it for you. Remember, we are kindafunny.com's PlayStation podcast. We are the #1 PlayStation podcast in the world. We post each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m. on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, as well as the podcast service of your choice. So please enjoy the show, share them with your friends, rate us on iTunes, thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Every episode of PS I Love You XOXO ends in a song in a segment we call Singing to Shuhei. Here, you go to kindafunny.com/PSM and submit a song you have created. It can be a SoundCloud link, an MP3 download, whatever, but I need an MP3 and a YouTube video because on the MP3 you might be listening to right now, I put the whole song at the end of it. On the YouTube video, I annotate out to your YouTube channel so people can enjoy it. Today's song comes from Fender B. Here's my band, Anima. Is that how you say it? You're smarter than me. A-N-I-M-A.
Yeah,
Anima.
Yeah.
Heavy rock, female, front lady, awesomeness. Music video coming Boxing Day. I don't know what Boxing Day is. I assume it's sometime...
Mike Tyson's birthday, I think.
Mike Tyson's birthday this year. So if you're listening to the MP3, here is Anima. If you're not and you're watching the YouTube video, I'm annotating to their YouTube channel that will have a video on Boxing Day, which is Mike Tyson's birthday. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.